is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out, and I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. Messed up and out of touch, let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. I know I certainly didn't expect to see the assassination of Evgeny Prigozhin today. Why do I call it an assassination? I mean, could have something just went wrong? Oh, something went wrong. Something went wrong, all right. From seeing the video of the wreckage falling to the earth, it's clear to me that one of two things happened there. Either there was a bomb on board the aircraft that was at the rear of the plane, or it was hit by something. I hesitate to say the word missile. Maybe you'll understand a little bit more why in a moment. The reason I say it was hit in the rear, not only because of the evidence of what you saw falling from the sky if you saw the video, but also because the aircraft was, for the most part, still intact and kind of floating down, if you will. What I mean by that is, if there was a bomb somewhere like towards the center of the fuselage or something like that, and or if something hit the aircraft, say center of the fuselage or something like that, that plane is going to break in half, and you're going to have two pieces falling rather quickly to the earth instead of what happened there. We might be looking at a serious turning point. I don't know. I'm not even really comfortable in saying 100% for fact that Mr. Prigozhin took a dirt nap. Wouldn't that entire crew that was on that plane, wouldn't they make a hell of a bang-up crew of ghosts, you know? Because many military leaders around the world had their eyes on the Wagner group and watching them very, very closely. Well, when they're checking out the hair on your ass with a microscope, you really can't do much. And so it would be much better if they no longer existed, you know? I'm just throwing that out there. It is a possibility that his and possibly his command's deaths were faked. It is a possibility. They may not have been on that plane. However, we have the also possibility that Mr. Prigozhin and his buddies did take a dirt nap. And then we have to ask the question of who sent them on said dirt nap. I don't want to jump to say that Putin gave him the dirt nap. And the reason I say that is because I'm still not buying the whole coup thing, okay? That looked cartoonish at best and idiotic. And I am in the belief that Putin knew about the entire thing before it went down. And I think Evgeny Prigozhin took the CIA, for all they're worth, along with Lord knows how much money, And, you know, if that is the truth, then I would say that the U.S. government might be just at least a little bit pissed off at Mr. Prigozhin and his crew. So that could be some motivation to pack an extra bag in the engine area of the engines of the airplane, you know, or hit it with some kind of a weapon that hasn't really seen mainstream yet. Any of the above is possible, as well as Putin sending up a fighter to take his ass out. All of the above is possible. Ain't that a bitch? I mean, you can't even get a handle on that, because you know, if you pay attention to the news headlines, there's a whole lot of shit going on around the whole planet. You got Russia and China in South America. You got them in Africa. You got the United States up Australia's ass, and of course up South Korea's ass. They try to fit up as tightly as they can in the Philippines. And of course, Japan. I don't know. I am definitely interested to watch this play out. Man, I don't know. Let's see. I've got, what do I got? 6 articles up. One of them is about the incident today. Figured we'd go over it. And then I've got a little bit of a trend I want to show you. Because you guys know how I keep asking the question over and over again. Is there even really a this country versus this country mentality bullshit really going on behind closed doors? Or is a bunch of these nations Hegelian dialecting us into a one world bullshit? And I know that might sound pretty tinfoil hattish, but I'm telling you, there's a whole host of things that all these nations have been doing together lockstep. And I just find it really, really interesting. Obviously, the whole COVID thing was one of them, but there's more. And I can't overlook this stuff. I cannot overlook it. It's just glaring at us right in our faces. And I can't help but believe that it's not an orchestrated event in order to get people, well, I don't know. What I see happening, I have a hard time explaining. Okay, all this push in society for all the trans stuff and all of that, and there is a fairly big push for it. Don't misunderstand me. It's not huge, but even at the size that it authentically is, not the expanded version the media gives us, it still makes one question, what the hell? I mean, didn't they do away with the lead paint a long time ago? Because did they start using lead paint again? Because I don't know. Or did they make like the pacifiers out of lead paint maybe? And I don't know, right after the millennium or so. I don't know. Kind of nuts. However, let's deal with this cat first. Let me refresh this just in case there's been anything updated. So what's been confirmed? Russian Emergencies Ministry confirmed that the jet plunged to the ground in the Tver region and that all 3 crew and 7 passengers on board were killed. The ministry said that the jet, an Embraer 135BJ Legacy 600, was traveling from Moscow to St. Petersburg at the time of the incident. I'll tell you what, it was a damn good thing that he happened to be in a Model 135BJ, because they gave him one hell of a blowjob. Anyway, Razavitslatsisia, or whatever the hell, the Russian Federal Air Transport Agency, said that Prigozhin was on board, along with 7 high-ranking Wagner commanders. Was the crash caught on camera? Doo-doo-doo-doo. Several short clips of the crash have circulated on social media. Videos published by the MASH and Baza Telegram channels appear to show the jet plummeting toward the ground in a seemingly uncontrolled spin, leaving behind a trail of black smoke. It is unclear from the clips which part of the aircraft had caught fire. It would have been in the tail. Other clips purportedly shot at the crash site show flaming wreckage strewn across a grassy clearing, not to be confused with the grassy knoll. Different assassination. Is Prigozhin definitely dead? Good question. Although Razavitsatsisia had said that, hey, that's the closest I can get, said that the Prigozhin's name was on board, it did not explicitly pronounce the Wagner chief dead. As of late Wednesday evening, Russian officials said that they had recovered 8 bodies, though none had been named by that time. All were described as badly burned. Some Russian outlets identified the plane's tail number as RA02795, which is believed to belong to Prigozhin, according to flight tracking site Flight Radar 24. A second plane linked to Prigozhin with the tail number of RA02878 departed Moscow shortly after the first, but returned to land after news of the crash broke. None of these reports have been officially confirmed. And I'm telling you about an aircraft of individuals that are all saying, holy shit. Who else was on board? In addition to Prigozhin, Razavitsatsisia, yeah, it's not going to get any better, said Dmitry Utkin, a former Russian Special Forces operator and alleged co-founder of the PMC, was also traveling on the jet, as well as Valery Chekalov, whom the U.S. considers to be the deputy head of Wagner. The remaining passengers listed were Sergei Propchustin, Evgeny Makharin Alexander Totman, and Nikolay Matusev, identified by Russian news outlets as Wagner. And you know who the hell Prigozhin is. And it talks about the mutiny. So, who knows? I honestly, I have no clue. And yeah, Kevin, exactly. He might still be in Africa. Who knows? He could do far more as a ghost than what he could ever do living at this point, with everything that's gone on. If he truly wanted to be effective, yeah, smart move, fake your death. And Kevin, here's the burning question. If Putin done it to send a message, would it not be important that he let it be known that he did it? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of the whole frickin' point? You know, don't fuck with me again, because I'll invite you for a meeting and you'll all go down. I mean, if that was what happened here, then I think Putin would own up to it. I think Putin would own up to it. I either think he wasn't on the plane, or I think it's possible that either the plane was sabotaged or hit by something. That I'll think you'll know the answer to within the next, 72 hours, I'd say. Because if it was outside actors that took out Prigozhin, Putin also lets you know about that, but in his own way. He may not come out and say it and make an announcement about it, talk about it, but I do believe that there will be action. Now, does that mean a strike on the West? Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. But he could probably hit some key targets that he knows of in Ukraine that would take American lives, for example. And then what can NATO do? That's not, they were in Ukraine. What can NATO do? So I would say within the next 72 hours, at least we'll kind of have an idea. Hey, Frank, what's up, man? At least we'll have some kind of an idea of whether this was Putin's work. I would say whether this was Putin's work or outside work. We'll know. I really don't leave a whole hell of a lot else, though, does it? I don't know. I would say it's a tough call, because it's been said by quite a few that Putin, and I've not studied the guy, but I don't know if it's propaganda or not, but there's quite a bit of talk about how he's kind of a paranoid cat. So, if that be the case, I could see him taking it out. Anywho, so that happened. I wanted to talk, because as I, again, keep beating that drum of, is there really, countries fighting with one another? I mean, I know it, on the surface it appears clearly there are. But there are so many things that so many nations that are supposed to hate one another right now are all following one another lockstep. Now here's the thing. I feel I need to add this little bit of a backdrop here. The outlet that we typically use for news is RT. I think if RT was going to propagandize, they would be propagandizing in favor of Russia. I mean, kind of a given, right? Well, check this out. You know how Putin is supposedly against this, the whole LGBTQ, RS, XBWRT, Volkswagen Rabbit, I don't know. You know that I know him, what? Now, why'd you go and do that, Mike? I don't know, I'm a dumbass. Anyway, damn, pardon me. Yikes. I find it awful interesting that the president of the country could be so against the LGBTQ whatever agenda. And we got headlines like this. Russian transgender activist threatens Ukraine with revenge. Okay. Now, not that long ago, there was been in the news in Ukraine about some freakity-freak transgender that was, I don't know, assigned some position. It's been in the news. It's been within the last week or two. And of course, the United States has shown their many freakity freaks a long time ago. So now that all the nations have their freakity freaks brought out to the front, I have to ask the question, why? Why? How is it that so many individuals from so many different nations that have supposedly so many different cultures are all arriving at the same place at the same time when it comes to this LGBTQRSTUWXZ Ford Taurus? I don't know. Just add your own letters. I mean, you get to identify as whatever the fuck you want, right? So put whatever damn letters you want on that sumbitch, right? I mean, if you're a fucking Dodge Ram, I mean, that's a D and an R you're going to have to put on there. I mean, I'm an attack chopper, so, you know, I have to put AC on everything. I mean, it's really that ridiculous. But it's all the countries, man. And I ran down and talked about Ukraine, right? You know about that. Of course, you know about the United States, all the freakity freaks, right? Including Millie himself, which is, you know, some people might think of him as a freak in the closet. Nah, I think he's a freak wide open. I just, you know, he tones it down in public. He's a freak. But anyway, I find it interesting that it's so many countries. I mean, Germany, for instance, right? Right now, they're introducing a bill to fast-track illegal gender change. Because, hell, we need that bullshit. We need that right away. We don't need shit like food and power and heat and bullshit like that. What we need to do is we need an easy, fast-track way to freakity-freak. Right? I mean, give me my freakity-freak file and let me fill that bitch out. And fuck food, fuck heat, fuck housing. Who needs that when you can get your freakity-freak? I mean, fuck. That's all you need, your freakity-freak. Does this make sense to anybody? It doesn't to me. British preschoolers shown bondage classroom images, says media. Are you noticing a trend here? Are you noticing how it's so many different countries, including countries that claim to be fighting one another? You notice that? Because I noticed the same fucking thing with COVID. I can't tell you in good conscience that these sumbitches are even fighting each other. Because there are so many different systemic things. We're talking systemic, right? You hear bullshit all the time about systemic. Look at this. This is systemic. It's in our governments. It's in our education institutions. How more systemic could you get? Could you imagine if they pushed racism in education, in government like they're doing this? Could you imagine? There's something, and we all know it, there's something global going on here. And I don't know how much we can actually honestly do about the global aspect. And the only damn thing I know of that we can do is the bottom up. And that does truly start with you and your preps and how you address wherever the freakity freak that we're going. Make sure you're damn good and ready. Because in a time not so far from now, I fear, the nation will be put in a position to, if you want to take part in any type of a normal society, you're going to have to bow down. By that, I mean take their currency, take their ID, take all their bullshit. Well, they've already got a majority of people taking their ID. You got real ID? Congratulations. I do not, and will not. I've been warning about this shit a long time ago. In fact, I just put on Facebook earlier today, like 2 hours ago. It's astonishing. It's astonishing to think that the establishment had been at this for so long that they had time to remove mass amounts of fathers from their children's lives and then indoctrinate the children via the education system to turn this nation into something else. Just like Fast and Furious Eric Holder said they had to do, they changed the culture. And they did it with a courtroom and human weakness. That's a fact. That's a fact. You want to sit on your ass and here's money? We're going to go after the father, make sure that he can't live a productive life, and we're going to do that to as many fucking fathers as that they will let us get our hooks into. And the government paid for all of the legal assistance and everything else to do it. Now, if that ain't a fucking conspiracy, I don't know what is. When can we talk about that in political debates? That I have no idea. Even remotely, Kevin. How the minority lead is the majority. Oh, man. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Anywho, get off the friggity freak topic. Thank you, Father. North Korea's second space launch ends in failure. Yeah, I'm wondering if it had... I haven't read this yet. I don't know what it says, so... A spy satellite launched by North Korea in the early... it doesn't matter. Whether or not we poked it out, it doesn't matter. A spy satellite launched by North Korea in the early hours of Thursday has failed to reach orbit due to an error. Oh, yeah? What kind of an error? Sometimes being hit in the side at a very high rate of speed with a bunch of mass and a big damned explosion is a bit of an error. The state news agency KCNA reported, citing Pyongyang Space Agency. The launch caused Seoul to go on alert as it happened during the ongoing joint war games with the U.S. Another clue. According to South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, the launch was detected around 3:50 a.m. local time. The button was pushed around 3:50 and 02 seconds a.m., and that bitch blew right up. Oh, sorry. No, I kind of wrote my own script there, it appears. It was detected around 3:50 a.m. local time from the Tongcheng-ri site on the west coast of North Korea. You know where that's at. We've been there a few times. The rocket's path took it over the Yellow Sea southwest of Jeju Island. Man, we had a bitchin' time there. The South Korean military is maintaining a full readiness posture. And it's hard for me to be serious with some of this bullshit. In close cooperation with the U.S., the JCS said. North Korea routinely tests ballistic and cruise missiles without notifying the South or Japan, or the sea. They fucking don't care about the sea. Bitch, take it. This time, however, Pyongyang had notified Tokyo that it was planning a space launch vehicle takeoff between Thursday and August 31st, and designated 3 maritime danger zones ahead of that time. So, their big dong didn't make it, pretty much is the synopsis there. Maybe if they had a dong like Bezos. Need to buy their dongs from Amazon. They'll be able to get it up. I'm trying to get fired for incompetence. And anyway, right. South Korea holds first air raid drill in 6 years, so they're a little nervous, it would seem. Says air raid sirens blared across downtown Seoul on Wednesday as South Korea conducted a nationwide air defense drill in response to the perceived threat of a North Korean missile strike. As reported by Reuters, the test in the South Korean capital took place at 2 p.m. local time, with community leaders in yellow civil defense jackets and hats asking people to vacate the streets for 15 minutes before the alert was eased. In addition, motorists in some 200 areas of the country were told to pull over to the side of the road, while shoppers in 500 supermarkets, movie theaters, and other public areas were advised to evacuate, the South Korean Interior Ministry said. However, multiple media outlets have reported that many pedestrians appeared to ignore requests to seek shelter and didn't seem concerned about the emergency situation, simply disregarding the sirens. Probably not a good thing. Says people don't seem to care about it much. I don't believe there'll be an actual war either. Not one, a 52-year-old architectural designer told Reuters. Meanwhile, those who did take part described shelters that were ill-equipped to handle large numbers of people and poor preparation on part of the authorities. You know, proper preparation prevents piss-poor performance. Maybe they should have put that in there, too. I don't know. Anyway. Where the hell's our underground shelters? I mean, damn. Right? I mean, Russia's got underground shelters in some places for their public. I mean, South Korea. They want you to crawl under your fucking desk and put your arms over your head. Gee, thanks, Uncle Joe. I hear you there, Frank. I certainly made myself appear incompetent enough that they wouldn't want to hire me. Man, it is messed up. It is messed up. It's a bit uneasy, though. I mean, because you have no idea what to expect coming. There are just so many damn different things going on right now. And, truth of the matter is, when something does happen, it'll probably be something that blindsides us. Just COVID blindsided us. There was nobody that had that on their bingo card. In fact, that pretty much started the whole bingo card discussion. And it went on from there. Oh, man. Alright. I reckon I can read the headlines from this morning and throughout today and hop on out of here. Taiwan expelled from international political body. Germany facing zero growth, says Bundesbank. Russia's top rapper considers taking over Domino's Pizza, says media. I guess that's the Russian Domino's Pizza. Oh. Good luck, man. Drone dropped bomb kills 3 in Russia, says governor. Ukrainians question timing of Soviet landmark overhaul, says poll. Ukraine can't defeat Russia, says ex-NATO general. Moscow introduces radical e-scooter laws. So, I guess people, I read just a little bit of it. It's, and it's not just e-scooters, it's bicycles and stuff too. People are just like irresponsibly leaving them around. And so I guess more or less if they do so, I guess they could get them pounded or whatever, what have you, so. Let's see. Ukraine crisis caused by Western attempts to preserve hegemony, says Putin. Ukraine must seek ceasefire with Russia now, says ex-presidential aide. Wouldn't be a bad idea. 2024 BRICS summit to be held in Kazan, says Putin. Let's see. Powerful Ukrainian brigade loses U.S.-made demining vehicle, says Forbes. That might set him back a little bit. BRICS needs common payment system, researchers tell RT. China on the right side of history, says Z. I'm pretty sure all leaders say they're on the right side of history. That's kind of the whole point, right? Send expendable Soviet armor to Russian minefields, ex-U.S. advisor tells Kiev. BRICS Bank can create honest... Now, this is important. I didn't bring it up, but nonetheless, it's important. BRICS Bank can create honest currency anchored to gold, says an economist. So, it's not like they've done it, but clearly going to be talk. So, India's Chandrayaan-3 mission lands on the moon. U.S. cannot afford to fund Ukraine war, says think tank chief. You really need a think tank to figure that one out? I mean, my calculator that comes on Windows is plenty good. I don't even need that. You look at the national deficit, we're fucked. I mean, that's it. I mean, they say that numbers are infinite, but that's not true with the economy. Because when it comes to national debt, it seems like we've hit a number that we can't get past, and it's the number we're fucked. I mean, it just seems like that number just is a bottomless pit. Just, we're fucked. I mean, they don't even have to keep changing the number up there. They could just put that one thing, and we'd all know. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not a damn bit sorry. South Korea, covered that. Pacific leader blasts Macron over nuclear test snub. Hawaii wildfire economic damage assessed. Zelensky admits Kiev's counteroffensive very difficult. Young diplomats discuss multipolarity in Kazan, Russia. Xi laments Cold War mentality. Russia offers EU solution over frozen assets. Polish government cracking down on critical entrepreneurs, says Financial Times. Russia eases rules on payments to foreign investors. Migrant arrested after punching woman for wearing short shorts near Moscow. So, women, watch it, wearing your short shorts. Video shows Wagner boss plane crash, and you've probably seen that 100 times by now. Let's see, talked about that. You already know that. Ending Ukraine conflict now is smartest thing we can do, says retired U.S. Army colonel. Yep. Xi Jinping aide forcibly blocked from escorting him. So, it doesn't really say the outcome of that. I am kind of curious on that. It could have just been an oops. I mean, children saved in Pakistan's cable car incident. And I will say it does kind of sound like it could be an oops because Xi Jinping's aide was, for whatever reason, I don't know, he was held back a little bit from Xi Jinping as Xi Jinping was going through a set of doors. Well, he tried to run to catch up, and they wouldn't let him through. They just stopped. So, you know, it could have been the people right there at the door just didn't see him with Xi Jinping when he walked through that little bit of corridor, so they probably thought they were keeping out somebody that wasn't supposed to be there. So, that's my guess. I don't know that that's what happened, but that, I think they're making much out of nothing, but it could be wrong. Prigozhin, covered that. North Korea's second space launch. I covered that. Wow, all these are covered except for this last one here. Putin decorates tank crew from viral battlefield video. So, howdy dear. Like I say, it's crazy. It's really kind of hard to put your thumb down on anything and say, well, this is what we need to watch, or that's what we need to watch, or because, holy hell. And I don't think that's by chance either. I mean, that's kind of all part of the plan. It's even in that good book. And they'll do everything they can to confuse and deceive and divide and... It's crazy. Anyway, I am going to get off of here. I actually did that pretty quick tonight. Wasn't even paying attention. I'm going to get off of here and get to crashed. I'm tired. I'm always tired anymore, though, so... Not unusual. I am not quite halfway through the book yet. I've got, 30, 40 pages or so, and I'll be halfway or so in the book. I didn't read a whole lot today. In fact, it was actually this evening before I even picked it up, to be honest. So, anyway. And then I was decompiling a model that I'm determined that I want a glass airplane. And I think I want to take a bush plane first and make a bush plane glass so that way I can see. All I want to make glass is the fabric, right? I want all the rib material. I want all the structure of the aircraft to be like what it normally is, except I want the material to be translucent so that you can see through it. And, the seat, all that will be normal, so it's not like you look like you're sitting on air. You'll be sitting in the seat, you'll see the panel and all that. But it's just the fabric covering the wings and the fabric covering the fuselage will be translucent. I don't know, it just sounds cool to me, and sounds like it'd be fun to fly around Alaska or wherever the hell I wind up with it. So, now that I have the power, well, I will have the power once I figure out how to do it. I'm in the area though, so probably a few hundred YouTube videos and I'll have glass fabric. Who knows? Anyway, I am gonna get out of here. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow and blabber on some more. I hope you all have a good night. Hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.